This is a presentation on Jacqueline Cochran. Early life. Jacqueline Cochran, born with the name Bessie Lee Pittman, was the youngest of 5 of Mary and Ira Pittman. At age 8, she moved to Georgia, where she went to work in a cotton mill. When she was 14, she married Robert Cochran, and they had a son, Robert Jr., in 1921. Robert Jr. died in 1925, and the couple divorced in 1927. After the marriage ended, she kept the name Cochran and began using Jacqueline or Jackie as her given name. Although Cochran had trained as a beautician, she eventually took her first flying lessons in 1932 and got her pilot's license within 3 weeks. After a friend offered her a ride in an aircraft, Cochran began taking flying lessons at Roosevelt Airfield, Long Island, in the early 1930s and learned to fly an aircraft in 3 weeks. She then soloed and within 2 years obtained her commercial pilot's license. Although Cochran tried to hide her family from the public, she remained in touch with them and provided for them over the years. They're instructed to always say they were her adopted family. Cochran apparently wanted to hide her family from the public in the early chapters of her life, and was successful in doing so until her death. Some of her family moved to her ranch in California after she married Floyd Bostwick Odwum in Kingman, Arizona on May 11, 1936. Odwum was reputed to be one of the 10 wealthiest men in the world at the time. President of the 99s. Cochran was a friend of Amelia Earhart. Although she was not a founding member of the 99s, she was president of the 99s from 1941 to 1943 and was instrumental in ensuring that women pilots would be able to participate in the newly founded Civil Air Patrol as well as the Women Air Force Service Pilot Program. In her monthly editorials for the 99s newsletter, she exhorted members to join the Women Air Force Service Pilot Program, and to do that, they could help the war effort. Women Air Force Service Pilot. In September 1939, Cochran wrote to Eleanor Roosevelt to introduce the proposal of a women's flying division in the Army Air Forces. She felt that qualified women pilots could do all of the domestic non-combat aviation jobs necessary to release more male pilots for combat. She pictured herself as the director of the program similar to that of the Women's Auxiliary Corps, or WAAC, which was given full military status on July 1, 1943, thus making them a part of the Army. Distinguished Service Medalist. Cochran was awarded the Distinguished Service Medal in 1945, and a War Department press release dated March 1, 1945, which was stated that Cochran was the first woman civilian to receive the Distinguished Service Medal, which was the highest non-combat award presented by the United States government at the time. Flying records. Cochran set numerous records. She became the first woman to go supersonic. In 1952, Cochran, at age 47, decided to challenge the world speed record for women. On the 18th of May, 1953, Cochran set a new 100-kilometer speed record of 652.5 miles per hour. Later, on the 3rd of June, she set a new 15-kilometer closed-circuit record of 670 miles per hour. Encouraged by then Major Chuck Yeager, with whom Cochran shared a lifelong friendship, on May 18, 1953, at Rogers Dry Lake, California, Cochran flew the Sabre 3 at an average speed of 952.3 miles per hour. During this course of the run, the Sabre went supersonic, and Cochran became the first woman to break the sound barrier. Legacy. Cochran died on August 9, 1980, at her home in Indio, California, 4 years after the passing of her husband. Cochran's aviation accomplishments never gained the continuing media attention given those of Amelia Earhart, most likely due to her husband's immense wealth reduced from the rags-to-riches nature of her story. Nonetheless, she deserves a place in the ranks of famous female aviators and is a woman who frequently used her influence to advance the cause of women in aviation. And these are the resources for the presentation. The end.